Okay, so Argentina Samoa, basically one of the very key games of many key games that we have this weekend. And Argentina eke out the win 19-10. I don't think that's the full story of the game. It all starts off right at the beginning. What's that quote? What we do in life echoes in eternity. Don't think that's the one. The butterfly effect. The flapping of a butterfly's wings causes a hurricane in some other country.
What the hell are you talking about?
Straight off the off, we have a yellow card head and just taking out a player out in the air. Yes, he's pushing a player into him, but it is dangerous play and he earns the yellow card. And straight from the off, and for me, this really was the separator for these two teams. It was very, very even. And it was ultimately, I think the difference is that Argentina managed to have that advantage from that try, from that first yellow card. But I mean, I don't think that's the full story. Looking at other aspects of it, I think looking at the positive, Samoa's defense was superb, really good. Obviously very physical, as it's always going to be with Samoa, but they were very organised and they very much kept bending but never quite broke in multiple occasions. Yes, Argentina scored some tries, but there were multiple opportunities for Argentina to score more tries and Samoa held firm. But I felt that every time that Samoa got the ball in a place of attacking advantage, they just fluffed it. I'm thinking in the first half, there are a number of kicks that, I don't think they seemed aimless, but I think they seemed inaccurate. What I mean by that is that I saw that they were trying to kick in behind, but they were probably just a few meters further than they should be. Or they were trying to do a cross-field kick and it didn't quite hit the man. It's not kind of like this usual ping-pong tennis that we have for other kicking where you don't know the purposes. You could see what the purpose was in Samoa's attacking kicking plan out of hand. It just wasn't really being executed very well. And then in the second half, when Samoa kind of went down further, they just, every time they got into the opposition half, which was rare, they had a line out that they knocked on. They had a ball that was knocked on. They got right up until the try line. Someone wasn't even paying attention trying to catch the ball. Fortunately, right at the end, if you're Samoa, you're kind of left wondering if we hadn't made the mistake at the beginning, if we'd been a bit calmer in attack and we just didn't make the mistakes that we did. Yes, the ball was wet and slippery. I understand that, but it's a killer for Samoa because I think they leave this game wondering, what if we didn't knock it on here? What if we didn't do X, Y, and Z? On the Argentinian side, I think it was a lot more of a complete performance. The team looked a lot better. Their attacking prowess was good. Having said what I did about Samoa's defense, I have to say about Argentina, about their attack, and I think they were unlucky with a couple of their mauls and their scrums not being awarded for penalties, and they had to start taking the 3 points when it was available to them because they knew it just wasn't coming for them. I remember early in the second half, they kept going for the corner, trying to go for the line out, and I felt there was a couple of times where they had the line out, they set them all up, and I think Samoa was probably guilty of collapsing them all and they only got a scrum out of it. I remember significantly after that, they had scrum dominance. The scrum went down, but Nick Berry just said, get the ball out. And I felt like this was kind of harsh to Argentina. I think they had dominance in that area of the game and they weren't rewarded for it. And then you could see that because they then went to the corner again and then they started doing pops off the top rather than going for a maul, because I think in a very mature fashion, they said, look, we're winning the game, we're winning the battle in this area of the field, but we're not getting what we should be in terms of a penalty for collapsing mauls, so we're going to play it and ship it to our backs and see what we can do. And I think that's ultimately what led them to right, we just need to start collecting some points here, and ultimately it worked out for them in the end. I mean, the result of this game makes it hard for Samoa to get into the knockout stages. I've got to be honest with you, Samoa looked good enough to make me worried about the England game. They're not playing England next week, and it's not the week after. I think it's like the final game of the group stages for it's the final game week of the group stages for Group C or D, can't remember. But that's going to be really a fascinating game because I don't think Samoa are any pushovers. They're going to be kicking themselves that they didn't have a chance to win this game in the end because of the knock-ons and the mistakes they made. So it's going to be a tight game. And if England don't come up ready to rock, then they could get beaten. And then it puts the pool all up in a higgledy-piggledy in terms of who goes through. So fascinating game. Special mentions, I think number 14 for Argentina was all over the place. He was taking big hits, he was dealing out big hits, he was kicking conversions, he scored tries. I mean, he was Mr. Everything today. Probably the man of the match in my eyes. I think he was fantastic. And that's it. That's the game. I think, summary, Samoa are going to be kicking themselves over the mistakes they made. They could have won this game. It was in their grasp, and they just, they fluffed it. They fumbled it a little bit. So, more to see from Samoa. Hopefully they have a good game against England and can kind of keep themselves alive in this group through that. At least they got the losing bonus point, so that's positive for them. And that's it.
Illuminati